Hello gamers, welcome back to Beyond the Emulator with your host Dylan. In today's episode we're going to be setting up SpruceOS version 4.0.0 on my Trimui Smart Pro. Actually we're going to be talking firmware, settings, artwork, favorites, collections, platform settings, performance settings, Portmaster, themes, and yes, I will be playing a few games on each setup platform. Hold tight, grab your device, follow along with your freshly formatted version of SpruceOS. And lastly, if you enjoy these tutorials, please like and subscribe to my page, and again, thank you and enjoy. Now without keeping you in suspense, let's get started. So welcome to SpruceOS version 4.0.0. I'm going to actually be setting up, what I've done is put in the latest stable version 4.0.0. My previous video I actually was using a beta version, so the official release was this past week, and I went ahead and reformatted my card and re-added my BIOS, my ROMs, my saves, and went ahead and started over here. So I just kind of wanted to walk you through. It's kind of got the basic setup here. We've got recent, we've got favorites, we've got games, apps, settings. So what I wanted to do is get some artwork and get some games. So here's the games that I have. This is my platform. You can see it's very basic looking. I've got ROMs in each of these platforms that are listed here. So we can see as in Super Game Boy, we have no artwork. We're going to add that into it. PlayStation. Got some that had artwork from before when I carried over my ROMs and other artwork that was there, so that will not need to be scraped unless there's something missing, but we will go ahead and jump into those games after we get things set up. PSP, I've got some of those games as well with artwork. So, going back to the menu, you've also got recents. These are games that I was testing out earlier. And then I've also got favorites. These are games I've added my favorites, and I'll show you how that works. And apps, we're going to be going and playing in there for a little bit. So one thing that we're actually going to be doing first of all is firmware update. What SpruceOS has is actually for this unit. This has not been officially updated with the Trimui software that was posted back in November. So what I can do is we need to run this, and I'll show you the version that's actually on here. So if we go to our settings and we go to about the device, we'll go through these individually. You'll see my firmware version is 1.0.4. So, and I'm also connected to the internet. So the first step we're going to do is actually we're going to go to apps and we're going to update everything. So we can kind of make sure that we're on a clean slate running everything current. So we're going to go ahead and hit firm update. We've got plenty of battery. Just going to go ahead and check online. This is going to take a few minutes. As you can see, it's downloading a file. And in the meantime, I've got over here while we're downloading, I've got the brick running the music player that was recently launched, which includes some nice artwork as well as a synchronizer. So we'll put that over there in the background. Got this guy here. We're going to go ahead and press A to continue. This is going to update our firmware. Not the firmware for SpruceOS, but the firmware for the device itself. So some things you will notice is if you were going to be running it on stock OS without an SD card, you'll see some new features that are available. So we're going to go ahead and press A to continue. It's going to take a few moments to extract the file. It's going to also do a reboot, and then we'll go back over and confirm that it has been updated. It's about 126 megabyte file, I believe, so it's extracting it actually internally. There we go. So now it's going to go ahead and reboot. When we do that, actually you'll hold the volume down key as it does so in order to initiate the firmware update. So when we reboot, we're going to press A. And we're going to go ahead and go up here and go to the down button. There it goes. I've got the green bar, and it's installing the new updated firmware. So we're using this in real time, so I know that it might be a little boring while you're watching it. That's why we've got background music, but you can actually see approximately how much time. So if you need to fast forward the video, that's completely fine. I'm actually trying to set up my device, so I got to go through this as well. While we're waiting for that to hang out, we can actually go back while it's installing. We'll keep that in the screen. I can go back. I can go to AC/DC if I wanted to. Oh, we've got it going. So, a little Tom Petty in the background. So it has actually completed the firmware update. Now it's rebooting. You actually feel a vibration. It's actually vibrating, or a rumble. I don't know if that's just telling us it's done. Seems like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. There we go. So it seems like it's doing an installation. My clock is off. We're going to have to get that adjusted. My Wi-Fi hasn't been connected back yet. We'll have to double check that before we go to some of the other settings. So, as you can see, the firmware update has disappeared. That was there. So let's go over to our settings, go to About Our Device, and now you can see the firmware version is 1.1.1. So it did do what exactly it needed to do. And now it's actually on the device. So if you were to actually be using another firmware from another source, NextUI, Newly, MuOS, CrossMix, as well as Gamma OS, they're all going to have the latest firmware already installed on this device. I actually have 2 TSPs and a brick, and this was the last device that needed to be updated, so using Spruce is what I wanted to do. We're going to go ahead and reload the UI, user interface, real quick. We're going to try and get connected to the Wi-Fi. It's locating Wi-Fis that are in my area. Give it a few seconds, it should connect right back up. Sometimes if it doesn't seem to be connecting right away to your source or your network, what I've done is I've actually turned it off, turned it back on, and I'm connected. I've got a check mark over here. Going to go ahead and back out. Now we're connected, as you can see. So let's do some other stuff. We've got games. We're going to get to that soon. And recents and favorites. We'll walk through all that. So let's go through our apps again. Let's create, there's also the option of a boot logo. So let's go down the line of the apps that are offered. Boot logo. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to give you on the left hand side a bunch of selections that you can pick from, unless you want to create your own and then actually add it into the SD card. We're going to go ahead and select this one. It's going to go ahead and reboot, I believe, after it's booted the image. Oh, no, it did not. But what we can do to confirm that it's working, let's go ahead and back out, which is B again. Let's go to our settings. Top of it, we've got power off. Instead of a power off, we're going to do a reboot. So we're going to press X. Let's see if our boot logo worked. There you go. We've got a nice front boot logo. It's worked perfectly on the Trimui Smart Pro. Let's go ahead and load up its firmware. Yep, we're back over to Spruce again. So, perfect. We're going to go ahead and go to apps again. So we've completed the boot logo. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Boxart scraper. But before that, as I noticed, my Wi-Fi icon's not working right now. So we're going to go ahead and go back to settings really quick. I know it says connecting. We need to have the internet so we can use their scraper. It's an internal scraper that they have. We're going to go ahead and do this on and off thing. Seems to be my quick fix at this present time. There we go, right online. I could have waited a few extra seconds. Maybe I just need to be a little more patient, but just to show you the example. Okay. There we go, let's get out of there. We should have been connected. I thought we were there. There we go. We got an IP address. Let's go over to apps. So we're going to go over to Boxart Scraper. Going to go ahead and click on it. Looks like I got about 105 games. It's actually going to be scraping any art that's been missing. I believe actually there's a few of them. So now when I go back out of here and go over to my games, let's go over to like Game Boy Advance platform. I've got screen art over here. Pokemon Lazarus does not have it. I do have an image that I've been able to locate online. I can go ahead and just add it to the folder. Unbound, same as well, but we've got artwork there. If you see the star, that's actually labeled as a favorite. I'll show you how that works. So we've also got Nintendo 64. All the artwork is there for those games that were listed. NDS, we just have one game, Chrono Trigger. We'll show you how that works. PSP, you'll see we've got the artwork over there as well. Ports as well, provides artwork. Ports is still kind of being worked on, but some of it does work, and I'll show you a few games that do function. Go down, let's see, we also got these Capcom games. Some of them have artwork. Some of them do not. These are actually ones I'm being testing. I've got one there, but if you do actually start a game and leave, your last save state will actually save an image or a screenshot that will actually provide it for the game, and I'll show you how that works as well. So we've got that kind of as well. Dreamcast images. Okay, so we're going to go back over to apps. We're not really necessarily going to do any check for updates, but if you wanted to do that, if there was a nightly version of SpruceOS you wanted to, you could go ahead and use this function to do an update. I don't want to make any changes right now. So last update I did was this morning. So the most recent had been within the last 24 hours. We can go through the settings and we'll see what version it is. E-reader, it's actually reading ebooks on a device. I have not tested it yet. I don't have any books to put on there, so we're going to kind of skip through that, but that's an option that you're able to use through their apps. File management, that's actually the file commander that a lot of the other firmwares are providing. So if we're going to click on that, you'll see two columns. So you'll be able to see actually the folders with the files. So if I wanted to go and see like my ROMs, if I wanted to show game or delete a game that's on there, I can go and do that. So if I find my platform, for example, say I go to my CPS1, you're going to see here's all the games that are listed. You can actually use your X button to do a move, copy, delete. You press your Y button, that's actually going to get you out of it. So we're going to go ahead and get out of this menu. But this just shows you that there is a file system that you're able to edit your programs on. Then we go down here, we've got Game Nursery. You can download some free games directly to your device. Let's go ahead and click on A to open that up. See what features it has to offer. These are games that are basically like homebrew. And again, this version of Spruce version 4.0.0 actually on the SD card when it's actually been created on your PC using a FAT32 card is you would be able to, after this is done, I should be able to take this SD card and also put it into my Trimui brick and my other Trimui Smart Pro and have basically uninterrupted, except for the screen art it would be set up for having to be set up in the brick, which I could create. So here's a couple of the games or folders that have programs. So if we were going to go to Super NES, these are 2 free games or homebrew that can actually be installed. If we go to ZZ Spectrum, these are games that actually can be added as well. So it just shows you an example of what's there in the nursery. Now we're going to go down and you got the MIUI game list, clean up displayed ROM names. Unfortunately, I don't have a MIUI device, so I have no real reason to go into this particular app. I'm going to go ahead and bypass it, but if you did actually put Spruce version 4.0.0 on your MIUI device, this option would be available for you. We've got Portmaster. We're going to go ahead and press A to open up the Portmaster menu. The interfaces are nice and clean. A little bit different than the previous versions that are showed on other firmware. You'll see how it sets up. It's going to make sure we've got the recent update. This is the front end. Very nice and clean, very legible to be able to read. We can go to featured ports, ready to run. What we'll do is we should go ahead and select a game. Let's go ahead and go Brain Teasers. Patras is already on there. Let's go with something that is quick and easy. Let's go with Blackout. Let's just test this one out. So we're going to go ahead and press A. We're going to press A again to install it. And when we get into the ports section, we'll go ahead and try out Blackout. Now if I go to my managed ports, these are ports that I've actually added to the system. Still, some of them are in testing. I believe some of them are still getting worked on with Portmaster, and maybe some files I still need to make sure work. I've got a few games going, but I'm still doing some testing on that. This is actually a list of all. There's Blackout right there. These are games that I've actually added. Some work, some do not. But I haven't removed them yet until I've done some further testing. Go ahead and get back out of that menu. Get a little freeze up here. Give it a second. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll turn off the screen, turn it back on. We did get frozen up here. There we go. So to exit that, I use Select Start. That actually got me out of Portmaster. So here we've got the next selection, Random Game. Launch a random game. So obviously you know what that means. Let's see what happens. Where is it going to take us? We can actually take it to the first game we can test. Street Fighter 3. That's a CPS game. And actually this game is not allowed in the United States or Canada. but was on an SD card that was provided with the Trimui brick. If I were to go to my menu key, it pulls up actually a submenu for the game. So this actually provides very similar to the stock OS or a cross-mix if you've seen. It's got continue, save, load, advanced menu, net play, and exit. We're not going to really talk into any net play today. I'm still testing and working on that. But we will continue with just continue the game. Save, we can actually set up a save state. So if we were going to go ahead and press A on save state, it's going to give us up to 10 records or save spots. We're going to go ahead and press 1. Leave it at that. I'm going to press A to save it. It's going to take a screenshot. Okay. If I go to my load, it's going to show that as well. Now you'll see there's a lot on the left and the right. It's basically because there's only one record being shown, so it's not blank on the sides. So it's just going to cycle through the one that's offered. If we had 2, it would then change and have 2 options. So, advanced menu, if we actually hit that, it's actually going to open up the Retroarch system, which is here. So down below you'll actually see the core that's being used. It's the FB Alpha 2012. Okay, we're also using the firmware 1.18.0. Here's our menu. We can actually do a save state in here as well if you're more familiar and want to use it on the Retroarch end. We're going to go ahead and continue. It's going to take the game. And you saw when I raised the volume, how it comes up on the screen, 13 to 20, okay? And there's one game, actually, very good graphics. So, again, if I go ahead and select menu, my menu key, I'm going to go ahead and do another save. Now, if I go to my load, now you see 2 blanks because we've only got 2 records. So let's go continue. Also, it's saved in Retroarch in a slot. Not really sure why it does both. They're both related to each other. We're going to go ahead and, if you wanted to go into Retroarch and go into their settings, you could go ahead and make changes. If you're familiar and comfortable with Retroarch, definitely there's a lot you can go into settings, getting frames per second, getting enhanced scaling, resolution, a lot of other features if you want to get into that. I'm not really into this video, unfortunately, to set that up. I'm really trying to set up the SpruceOS on my device so that I can share it with others. So we're going to go back to the quick menu. I'm going to go ahead and close this out right now. We'll go ahead and quit, which will then revert me back to the apps. There we go. So here down below, there you go, Retroarch, core and game configuration. So if I were going to press A, it's going to go ahead and open up Retroarch, which is right here. Which, if you're more than familiar with Retroarch, you'll know the background of how it functions. If you want to save your configuration, it's actually got saved new configuration. So previous version that was in beta was not allowing it. There was an override. So I typically save my configuration after I've made some changes on some of the programs. Something to note. We're going to quit out of that. Then you have down below that Spruce Backup and Spruce Restore. So if I wanted to save my configurations and settings, I could go here and do a Spruce Backup. And I can also restore it as well if that were need to be. Maybe do an upgrade and you're going to go ahead and upgrade your SD card entirely. You might want to do a backup of some of the configurations, make it a little bit easier for setup on the newer version that might come in the future. So down here we've got Theme Garden. We're going to actually do a little background theme. So we're going to click on Theme Garden. It's going to give us a preview. So here we go. On the left you see the choices. These are all different themes that are being set up. You can scroll through to find ones that you like. Everyone's got different options. Kind of nice. I haven't decided which one quite yet. This one's kind of flashy. Some are a little bit different than others, and there's settings that need to be changed to make some of those work a little bit cleaner. Looks like somebody's actually added quite a few new ones lately since the last time I've looked. So seems like a lot of people are developing some new stuff. But you can see the designs here. You can see how this one is very nice. Reflections, I've showed that off. Slabs is pretty sweet. I like that one a lot. But if I were going to go ahead and select slabs, which we'll go ahead and do that, I'm going to press A. We're going to be downloading slabs. Here we go. Successfully downloaded slabs. So we're going to go ahead and get out of that. And I'll show you how we're going to change that shortly after we get out of these apps. I can't recall if it actually opens it up. No. Okay, perfect. And we're going to go down. The last one is UPS storage mode. So this is where you can plug in your USB to your computer, to your device, and you're going to go ahead and press A, and then it's going to basically do a connect by cable, so then it'll pull up your files right to your computer. And if you needed to add ROMs, you don't necessarily need to take your SD card out anymore. You'll be able to just transfer your files through via cable if you want to use that feature right to your device, and you'll be able to add those games or BIOS or other apps that might come available. So that feature works. I've actually used it for one of the port games, by the way. So that takes us out of what apps has got to offer. We're going to go ahead and get out of that. Yes, we're going to get to games soon. So next we're going to go to settings. Let's walk through all the settings that they have to offer. Settings. So we're going to top to bottom. We've got power. Obviously you know what that is. You've got a backlight. So 10 is the maximum. You can see how I've gone down and how bright I can be. We're going to go brightest, so then it kind of gives, I hope that helps with seeing everything on the screen. Volume. Max goes up to 20. Where Wi-Fi is connected. Bluetooth I have not used, so I've kept that off. We're going to go down to theme. Current theme that we had was Spruce. We're going to go ahead and change that. There's slabs. We're going to go ahead, press A. It's going to like flash it. Going to exit B to exit out. What it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and update the theme, so it runs through and patches any images that are in there to adapt to the new theme. Takes a few seconds. You can see already my battery, my percentage, and my Wi-Fi icon have changed. Now you can see up here games, apps, and settings, which are actually going to be used with my left or right buttons, or there's a way to change it and put it back to a different menu. We'll go through those changes as well. I'm not one that likes the settings up here with the left and right. I'm more comfortable using the D-pad to go left or right to locate my stuff based on how the brick sits. So while it's going through this, see if we can shake it up here. Turn a little ELO on. So there we go. As you can see, it's updated. So Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Media, all this has been on the screen. So every one of them that is there, recents, and you can see up above, games. If I click it with my right, and there's my settings. So there we go. And if I want to go back, there's my games, and here's my menu of games. So Game Boy Advance, just like they were. We're going to go back to settings. Now that's in a different position up here. Now that we've set our themes up, we've completed this page here. We're going to go down, theme settings. So now we're going to go down to theme settings. From the top, it's got a main menu theme option. Skip the main menu. No. Now what that does is, see, it just removed those three icons. I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to go back, 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 back. Because I'm exiting out of the... We need to reload the UI. Whoa, we turned sideways. That's interesting. That was not what was expected. Settings. That did not fix that at all. Let's go back to main menu. Let's go back and keep that up there right now. Here we go. Merge main menu and game menu. True. Now we want to turn this off. So this one down here. We're going to go ahead and this is an interesting way of doing things here while we're setting it up. We're going to reload the UI. There we go. This is what we were looking for. Goodness. Now when I go through this menu, favorites, recent, settings. See, here's my settings. So I like my settings here. I mean, some people like to move the toggle here and here, but I don't need to have any more verbiage up the top. Here I've got the clock, which was incorrect, but that's not really important right now. Simple fix. But I like to have my settings with my main menu, like some of my other firmwares that are out there. So now we're going to go down to, again, theme settings. We're going to go back to main menu theme options, so you can see we're actually making some changes. Main menu can be a carousel. It could be icons and descriptions. It could be a full screen grid. We can change quite a few different things. I prefer the carousel, so I'm going to leave it as it is, but you're going to have to go on your own preference to kind of see what else is offered. Now it goes down and it's going to give you show recents. True means you have them showing. I don't necessarily need to know my recents, so I can turn it off and put it as false. Show collections. I'm going to actually open it up, so we'll be able to see that later. Favorites, we're also going to put favorites, so we'll show that on the menu. Show apps. We can show apps, so then we have that as well listed. And we want to show settings. So pretty much everything is all right there. And now your main menu title, SpruceOS, what you can do is you can actually call it, going backwards here, what we're going to do is, going to go here, and we're going to put in Beyond Emulator. And it's real clear as far as actually typing in. It doesn't seem to be an issue. We're going to go to return, your return key. Here we go. We're going to go down. That ships everything. We're going to go ahead and get out of the main menu theme options. We're going to reload that UI real quick. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. There's our images. If I go to my settings, should have shown our name, but maybe I've removed it. So theme settings, we're going to go back into. Now you have a system select the menu options. You can view the games how we have it in a carousel. You can have columns. You can have height, width. You can make all these internal changes, how you want your images to show up on the screen. If we go to game select menu theme options as well, you've got the choice of different images, how you want to set them up. Full screen, grids, text and image. So if we were going to go carousel, we'll show you that. We're going to go to fonts. See, you can actually have your fonts listed. and size. So if we wanted to go here, you're going to see my settings is getting small, where I go up like this, and I can make it very much larger. We'll go back to 36. Battery percentage, I can shrink that down. It seems like the battery percent, there it goes, battery percentage is getting smaller, so is my clock. Makes it hard to see. We'll leave it at 36. List size, we can make it smaller or bigger. If we wanted to make our list, our messages, we can bring those down even as well, smaller. You've got your list description for each of the games, how you want your rows. You can change the size of your fonts, how you want everything to lay out. So then we also have the grid view theme option. So as well, making those adjustments you can change to move things around. Top and bottom bar options. So show battery percentage, we've got it up there. We can turn that off. Show the battery icon, we're going to keep it on there. Show the volume numbers, yes. Show the bottom bar buttons, true. Show the clock, if I wanted to take the clock off, clock is removed over here. We're going to keep that on. Now if we're going to go here and you do the left side initial X offset, as you can see while I'm increasing the numbers here, my clock is moving more to the right. So we're actually putting it over the word side initial. You can see how it's there. Now if I go back, we'll go to like 75. You'll see it listed it right here in the middle. That just is some features that you can make to really customize some settings and some images and how you want your screen to look at. Nothing that I'm really interested at this moment. Okay, those are all part of the theme settings. Now we're going to go below that. We've got sound settings. So press button to press sound. True, of course. Play BGM. Leave it at that and leave the volume at 8. Nothing really needs to be necessarily touched. It's all pretty much defaulted. Additional settings. Let's go down the menu for additional settings. We've got display settings. So let's start down the list. There's 15 items, so display settings. The backlight, brightness, the contrast, saturation, the hue, anything you want to adjust to the image. So if we were going to go saturation, see how it changes that. Gives you that different image. If we wanted to go hue, let's give you a little bit more color, contrast. Brightness, we already know. Actually got a little bit brighter, look at that. So there is a preset, but we can actually go a little bit brighter. Backlight as well, only goes up to 10. We'll leave that as it is. You've got animation settings. Animations enabled, yes. Animation speed, we'll leave that as it is, standard. Time settings. Well, this is a good place to set our time. So my current time is 6:54. So we're not in the AM, so it's set up as a 24-hour. There we go. Now my clock is current. Set my time zone. I'm going to go ahead and click on A to enter. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to relate to America and Los Angeles. So I click there. See, now it made my clock change again. So 6:54. I have the 24-hour clock off, showing AM, PM. There we go. Now we're going to go down to the menu of Game Select System Select Settings. Show all the systems. This would be actually, if you had this on, it would actually show you all the platforms. Games are not in there. I think that's a little overwhelming, so what is best is just the platforms that you're using with ROMs already on them. Just go ahead and show all the systems as off, unless you feel like you want to see a very large screen full of platforms with nothing maybe in them until you've added them. So game system sorting, we can do alphabetical, we can do custom. So custom. So system can be customized here. I haven't played with this. Not really. Whoop. So if we go custom, or we sort order by key or alphabetical. We're going to go alphabetical right now. And you'll see how that works when we get it back on screen. We'll get there. We're going to get there for games. Now we've got game select settings. So this has actually been removed. This is the Diashu theme where you use the left and right to go through. We don't need that. Game switcher. That's actually where we can switch games. So using the menu key here, it's going to open up for a game switcher. Let's see if I have something in the game switcher. If I press menu, I do. I have Fire Emblem. So that is one game I've actually got. So if I press my menu key, press this game, and press A, it's going to go right to it. I don't have to go necessarily to the platform, locate the game, or go to favorites or a collection. So what we'll do is we'll add another one to the game switcher as well. So just to show you how that works. Save state screenshots. So what's happening is that when you do a save state, it does a screenshot. When you exit the game, if you don't have a screen image or artwork, it'll actually use that image for it. I'll show you an example. Game count, not really sure what that means. Not really full screen view, grid. We've already done this. And then we've got zoom, fit. We want to fit that. Top bar game name, true. Use recent for game switcher, no. Menu hold time, seconds before game switcher launched from game. So if I go here, should open the game. There we go. We're going to go ahead and continue at this moment. We're not going to transfer any saves. But if we were to go to our menu, it's not going to show us we have a save state. Even if I were to go to the advanced menu into Retroarch, oh, it went right to that example. And we're actually on this particular one, we're using the GPSP core for this particular game. We're going to get back out of there. Continue. But it goes right to the game. So that, and if I were to press the menu button again, if I had a different game, it would flip right to it. So what it's done is, because it's left me a screen image. But we're going to go ahead and do B to back out. Whoa, so here we go. We're going to go over to our settings one more time. Bring it down here. We're still got a lot of stuff to go through. So we're at game switcher settings. You can see how that works. Oh, game count. You can have up to 8 games in your game switcher. We're going to put it to 4 right now. And what it means is that when you're going to that, you're going to get an image of a full screen grid of the game. So that explains that. We're going to go down to game art display settings. Collections. You're going to use Boxart, favorites, Boxart, game select, Boxart, recents, screenshot, game switcher, screenshot. So choices can be changed. If we want to put recents, we could do Boxart. Game switcher, we could do Boxart. Pretty simple. We'll do screenshots in those and leave them as they are. No reason to change them. Controller settings. We're going to go down to controller settings. We can remap the buttons if we wanted to. Input the rate limiting. Something I don't need to necessarily do. These are set as defaults. No reason to make any changes at this time. Go down to language settings. We've got different languages that are available. No reason for me to go in and make any changes. I don't need to have it corrupt my software and have to get lost in another language at the moment. I'm going to go down to battery settings. So low percent battery, it's going to show you here. It's going to flash some lights. Shut down after sleeping. It's set up as a 2. So shut down after sleeping, off sleeps indefinitely. Shut down while idle. Shut down while idle in game. These are all settings you can do. Disable network surface in game. Disable Wi-Fi in game. True. But if you do that, your Retroarch won't work. But that'll save the battery a little bit. So these are changes you can make internally for yourself based on your preferences. Nothing I'm going to necessarily need to change. I'm going to go down to system settings. Check for Spruce updates on startup. Not necessarily need to right now. Launch the application. It could be a random game, a game switcher, Explorer, Spruce UI. We're just going to go with the interface right now. I like it when it opens up. There's rumble intensity. You've got weak, off, strong, medium. We'll just leave it at medium. Swap file size. Haven't played with that yet. Not necessary at this time. And emulator settings. So tap the home key, which is your menu, to get to the emulator menu. Hold the home key again for your game switcher. Here's Retroarch use in-game menu. Retroarch use in-game menu. Yes, that's where you're going to do that. Transfer saves between cores. It's going to ask you that question like it did for when we were trying to open up Fire Emblem. Your Retroarch hotkey enable button using the menu. You could have it changed to a different button if you'd like. Auto save states on close. Custom allows it to set in Retroarch itself, so it's going to save a save state. Same as well as the load state. You'll see that on a couple of games. If you wanted to use overlays, widescreen, a couple of those are for different platforms. For Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. You could, and then as well as the Genesis Plus going to a widescreen if you wanted to. I don't have a Genesis Plus GX game, but we do have Game Boy Advance. We're going to go down to network settings. We've got the choices of doing any network. You've got Samba, SSH, Sync Thing, Wi-Fi file transfer. Some of these I haven't officially tested. Over the air skip version check. Allows reinstall the same version again. So a little bit more deep in testing on that right now. I don't necessarily need it. I'm loaded with games for a while to keep myself busy. Going to go down to proxy settings. These are for network if we're doing any kind of porting. Going to go to RGB LED settings. Disable. So if I leave this as it is, the brightness, I can take this and turn it down. This will change the brightness. Right now it's green. Should be able to change these colors. Don't see us having any changes here for purple. But there is a way that when you do play a game, you can actually get the LED lights to glow. What we're going to do is I've made some settings. We'll see how they are, but right now it's green. Probably when I reload the UI, it's probably going to change them. We'll see what happens. And that changes it out of settings there for additional settings. Now we're going to continue to go down. We got tasks. Again, that's just another option for downloading Boxart, optimizing Boxart, lockdown mode, making it easier for kids locking out a few menus, or disconnecting any of your Wi-Fi connections. As you can see, resetting any Retroarch hotkeys, Retroarch configurations, resetting any configurations to also drastic and PPSSPP, if that was something you needed to do. Cleaning up any Mac OS dot files, if you're using a Mac for your files and programs to get onto the SD card. If you had an issue with your SD card, you could get it repaired, I believe. So those are the menus that are in that for tasks. Then we're going to go to about the device. As you can see, we're still connected. Everything's still going. And we're going to reload the UI. And see, my lights went out. So if I were to go to my settings again, and we're going to go to tab, additional settings, I believe. There they are, RGB. We're going to see reload UI to apply. We're going to do a purple. We're going to take this out. We're going to reload the UI. And there they are in purple. So, perfect. So, that's basically set up a lot of settings. Now it's game time. And we're back with games. finally we reached it. Took about maybe 45 minutes to an hour to get it set up. As far as if you had your BIOS and your ROMs already in there, it's going to make it easy, because now after that you're pretty much up to Gametime. So we're going to run through each of the platforms that I've installed already currently on here. Some are still into testing for myself. I'm still checking them out, but we're going to randomly hit some of these Capcom games and then some of the other games I've played with as well on the previous version of SpruceOS or on my other firmware devices. So with that, we're going to start with the Capcom, because we have settings here. So we're going to go to Capcom Player System. We've got 3 of them actually, 2 and 3. So we're going to hit these first 3, and I'll show you when we go to the menu. You'll see it go where we can do a save state. And then we can also, if we wanted to come back to it later, we can jump right into that game. So here we go. So as you can see, my carousel with my games has no screen art here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and press the menu key. Okay, that opens up a sub-menu. For adding, we're going to do download Boxart. So for this particular game, using your menu key, I don't have any Boxart. What I've done is, again, I'll show you. I'm going to go to my menu key. It's like a quick menu. I can do a search for looking for a game. I can add it to Game Switcher. I can add it or delete it to favorites, add it or delete it to collections, download the Boxart, or select from Boxart, which actually gives you a range of it. And I'm going to walk you through that. Launch a random game, toggle the view. If I want to do that, let's see what it does. See how it changed my view? So now I go back up to my menu, scroll down, and then that's it. So if I go toggle view again, you see how it actually goes into grid. But we don't have any games still. So we're going to go select Boxart download. Let's see if it can locate. Nothing being found. So unfortunately, we're going to have no Boxart for any of these games, but we're going to hit this one, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior. It's going to boot the game. There we go. There we go. So most of these games, you're actually going to have to press select to get credits before you can actually play the game. And I believe B is to start the game or start. There we go. We've got Rue. Now before we do anything, just to show you, if I press the menu key, I can go ahead and save state. I'm going to go ahead and save this. It gives me an image. Now I'm going to show you something here before we go. We're going to go back into this game. We're going to exit it. See what it did here? It added a screenshot as the Boxart. So now, if I were to go to my menu, let's go to toggle view. There we go. Now I have at least an image to put in front of the game from the game. So if I go ahead and press A again, if I actually press it, see? If I press this button down here for select, see how my images, they even got bigger. Now I'm going to go ahead and press Y. Nothing happens there. I'm going to go ahead and press X. So what that does is it goes into a configuration down below in the background of the game. So as you can see, this is where the cores are at for Retroarch, as well as the CPU mode. So choices here, just to get into this now on this first game, is we're going to go and see, we'll select A. We've got Smart, Performance, Overclock. So those are the 3 choices for your governor, or cores, for your GPU. Retroarch core, it's automatically defaulted to the FB Alpha 2012, but you've got a selection of those 2. This is the default, it leaves it there. If you go ahead and toggle settings as a game-specific override, and I go with this, it's going to provide an asterisk, as you can see both here. And what it does is that all the games in that current platform are all going to default to that same setting. So we're going to go ahead and click it off right now. You have the option of deleting the ROM. It'll actually remove it off the SD card. Delete the Boxart. Add it again to Game Switcher, Favorites, remove and add, Download, Select, Launch the game. So it gives you some of those choices that we saw in the menu when we were over there. But now we can go back into the game. and it went right to the game. There we go. Working just fine. There we go. I'm going to take this person out in a second. There we go. Knocked him out. We'll go ahead and set it as a save state for number 2. We'll go ahead and exit out of that game. That's an example for that particular platform. We'll go ahead and get out of that. Let's go over to Capcom 2. So what we've got is Eco Fighters. So let's go ahead and just go with that right now. Let's go ahead and load the game. It's booted right up. We're going to go ahead into the advanced menu again. It's using the same core for this particular game. Trimui bricks are doing pretty well, playing music in the background. D-pad for shooting. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that did not help. There we go. Perfect. Uh-oh. Not good. Well, that gives you kind of an example of this particular game. So to get out of that, if I wanted to, go ahead and do menu. Exit game. And see it save the screenshot. So now when I go back, in my listing of games, I've got a screenshot. So that actually will help me when I'm actually doing any testing, knowing which game I've actually done or not, or I can save it actually for a favorite or a collection, which we'll get into that on some of the higher end games. So let's go ahead and get out of that. Let's go to Capcom 3. So we've got episode 1. This is a game I had played recently. Let's go to this game. Again, it's probably using the same core. It auto-loaded it. I'm going to press select. That actually... I'm going to take this guy out again. Down. We're going to do a save state. I'll come back to that game later. So that shows you that example for there. Let's get into some more meatier games. So Capcom, let's go to Dreamcast, see what they have to offer. So in Dreamcast, we've got a lot of artwork. Let's go ahead and do it this way. This is how I prefer it. These are games that are saved that I've been playing or have played. But if we wanted to go to like Dead or Alive, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and press X. If we needed to generate an M3U playlist for multi-disc games, we could go ahead and click here. CPU mode, again, we're going to put performance because this is a little bit using a little bit more of a demand on the game. And the emulator core, if I select there, I've got actually the FlyCast Libretto out of Retroarch, and then I've also got a standalone FlyCast. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the standalone, and I'll see you where you're able to open up the emulator. So we're going to go ahead with that. Again, it gives you all these options. Down below, we've already got screen art. We're going to go ahead and select it. And this is a game that I was actually playing earlier. But if I press the menu key, it opens up my FlyCast menu. So in my settings that I've done here, I've actually allowed it to open up save and load states. Loads when it automatically opens up the game. So we'll go ahead and resume. Yeah, we're tough on the frames per second. It doesn't seem, got a little bit of a lag. I am not doing, this lady is tearing me up right now because I'm not able to, there we go. I think the D-pad is what's actually happening, and we are just getting trashed here. Horrible example. So going back into the emulator, let's go. We can load and start back over to that same spot again. There's an option for cheats if you had those available. I don't believe they're actually listed. Nope. Some emulators like the PPSSPP will have the cheats installed on there, so you'll be able to grab them, or you're going to have to go ahead and locate them through Retroarch. We've got settings, so if I go ahead and press A to get my settings, as you can see, down below, automatic load and save states is what I have. That's why it's sitting there. Seems like the menu UI needs to be dropped down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down a little bit so I can see it better on the screen. It was defaulted as 100. See, now it just changed my menu to be able to be a little bit more visible to read. So you're able to go through these settings through general. The only thing I would change probably would be load and save. Your controls, that's where you need to set up your mapping. Your video, you have a choice of OpenGL, I believe. Whoa. There we go. I don't know why it's moving. But you should be able to go, so if we wanted to go to, should have down below frames per second. There we go. So we're going to go all the way back up to the top. Press done. We're going to go ahead and resume. Now you can see down in the bottom right hand or left hand corner, you can see the frames per second. I definitely got beat up here a second ago, but it's struggling a little bit. So what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and get out of this. We're going to take the same game and we're going to run it through the Retroarch. So we're going to go ahead and press X. Going to go to the standalone. We're going to change it to Librito. We're going to hit play. Glitchy on the front end. There's our image. Now if I press my menu key, you can see it opens up the Retroarch menu for saves and loads. So if I have a load state, which I already have, I actually should be able to go there. You can see I only have one load state. It actually is the same spot that was there in the other core. So let's see how I'm able to fight this time around. See, much better movement. Actually very cleaner screen. Let's see how I'm able to actually just punch him away. Definitely able to tear him up. He's pretty much done in a second. Oh, he thinks so. Oh. There we go. I'm going to do a save. Go ahead and get out of there. Keep go to advanced menu. You'll see it's the Flycast menu. We're going to go ahead and close the content. And there's your example of a Dreamcast game. Now if I wanted to do here, I could also press X. I've already got artwork. I could add it to the game switcher. Let's do that. So if I click on this, and we're not going to add it to or remove, we'll go to the next label. So now if I go and press my menu key, I have Fire Emblem and Dead or Alive. So I'm able to jump right back into them, and actually you'll see the name and the platform that's being used. So we're going to get out of that. We're going to go to Game Boy. The game I have right now is not matching up with the image that's here. Black Castle is actually a homebrew game, and it seemed by using the word castle it just captured an image. So we'll leave this as it is right now. At least it's better than nothing. So if I were to go here and press A, again my menu is going to open up. If I go to Advanced Menu, it's using the Gametime core. Works just fine. Come on, bring it down, come on. He's too smart for me. Ooh, I got beat. That hurt. Ouch. But as you can see, he's not going to come over, so what we'll do is there we go. See, we can shoot. Alright, so that gives you an example of that game. We don't have a save state, we'll go ahead and save it. I just added that game recently. Go ahead and get out of there. Now, if I wanted to, when I exit it, got a glitch there. We could change the image if I were to remove this image and then go back to the game. So to do that, let's do this. So we're going to go to X. We're going to delete the box art. We're going to go press A. I'm going to go back over to Game Boy. See, it actually captured the image from the game we were just recently playing. So perfect. Now this example relates to each other. So now we're going to go to Game Boy Advance. So you can see there's Fire Emblem. We've got Mario. We've got Pokemon Lazarus. So we're going to go to X to get our options. We're going to keep it. The CPO is Smart. You can see the Retroarch core. We've got two choices, MGBA or the GPSP. MGBA seems to be the one that I prefer, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. We've already got artwork. We can actually, let's go down and see if we can select something. See if there's a search. No, there's no Pokemon Lazarus. But what we're going to do is we're going to add it to favorites. So you'll see the icon came up here for favorites. Now we should be able to load it. Now, if I go to Advanced Menu, you'll see that I'm using the MGBA core. But it's not giving me a full image. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go ahead and exit out of that. It's going to give us an image now. Perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to go with the GPSP. We're going to go back. Try this again. So we're not getting a full image, so we're going to go to our menu key. We're going to go to Advanced Menu. We're going to go to some quick menu settings. We're going to go down here. See if there's a way we can get a bigger image. So we're going to come down. These menu items do not provide us what we're looking for. We're going to go to Settings. Go to Scaling. We're going to take that Custom. And what we're going to do is go 4.3 for the output. Click Menu, Resume, and there my image has just changed to the screen that it should be 4.3. So what I did again, Advanced Menu, I went over to my settings, in Retroarch. I went over to video. I went to scaling, and my aspect ratio was set at custom, and now it's at 4.3, which is correct. I could actually make other changes, but that would be the correct. So, and there we go. Showing you what I'm going to do is save. I'm going to go ahead and exit. See if we got the Lazarus Boxart, or oh, it took the snapshot because it was the last image that was taken, so it shows my last save state. So that's my GBA example. Gametime, that is actually included with SpruceOS. We're really going to ignore that. I'm going to remove it. So to remove this, we're going to go to Menu. Whoops, sorry, X. We're going to delete the ROM. And now if I go through, Dreamcast, Game Boy Advance, no more Gametime. So my next file is media. So we've got a music player as well as a video player. So here, we'll take a pause from the music. And we'll come over here. Got a little Bad Company going with screen art. And if you use your D-pad, you're going to be able to toggle fast forward, pressure A to pause. Not really sure how all this. Definitely got stuck on trying to change the song. So a little bit more testing on that, but it does play. Now on the other end, we can actually do video. Sounds really good actually. Pause to A. It's going to chip.
I would. Good, because it's going to blow your mind like the
If I press menu, it just basically reverts back. Now if I go to X, I can actually delete these, or I can add these. I don't have any box art, but I actually could delete the movies if I no longer wanted them, or put them in a collection if I had a few more of them. So we can go ahead and get out of that. Now we've moved on to Nintendo 64. So these are the games that I've added. They all have box art. If we wanted to go this way in the menu, you could see how small they are there. Big like a carousel. Whoops. Refreshed. There we go. Or you can have it big like this. So what we're going to do is, let's go with the Sock Putt Rally. Before we do that, let's get back out of that menu. We're going to add an exit. Forgot to show you my options for cores. So we're going to go ahead and press X. We're going to stick with performance. The emulator courses options. You've got this Ludicrous, you've got Parallel, you've got Movement 64 Plus, and you've got Movement 64 Plus standalone. So the first top three are actually being used through Retroarch. The last one is actually a standalone, so some of the hotkeys are not able to be used, so it works really well, but it's hard to use some functions on it. The other three are easy to work with, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep that as it is. The Ludicrous, that's the default. We're going to go ahead and press A. If I press my menu key again, so down below you'll see my Retroarch core, Ludicrous, N64. get to select your character. If I wanted to go ahead to advanced menu. Go to settings. I want to say it's latency. What we're going to do is try and locate. I've done this multiple times. Is trying to here it is, on-screen overlay or on-screen notifications, and what we're doing is on. Here we go. Should be able to go through this menu. And there should be a way to get the frames per second. It should be listed. I know we're trying to find it. Oh, it's a little frustrating right now because I know it's hiding somewhere. Alright, we'll get out of here. Let's get back to the main menu. Get back to our game. Sounds really clear.
Each racer must drive over the 4 check.
And there we go. Works really well. Whoa. Looks like we are going up. There we go. But for a Nintendo 60 game, there we go. We just got lost somewhere. I cannot. He got stuck. It seems like he got stuck between the building. Not good. Kind of embarrassing. So what we're going to do is, let's go ahead and get out of that example. Let's go with Rave Race. Use the same core. Image sounds great, very clear. Turn it down a little bit. Boots right up.
Select your watercraft, please. Welcome to Dolphin Park. Warm-up time. Follow that dolphin.
What? Here we go. Working really well for Nintendo 64 for this game. Very good.
Start racing. Select start the
This is actually working really nice on this. Really clear. Good sound. Movement. Graphics are not too bad. Probably make some other settings. Here we go. Oh, that did not feel good. So that kind of gives you an example of the Nintendo 64. Let's move on. We've got a few more to go. Nintendo DS. So the only game that I've got listed is Chrono Trigger. We're going to go ahead and press the X menu. It does not have options for NDS, so basically it's just the drastic. We're going to go ahead and select it. As you can see, it completely kicked over to two screens here. We're going to press our menu, and what you've got is you've got the drastic menu, version 2.5 or 2.2. So basically here in the drastic menu, you've got your change options. It's a little bit small, so there's not a lot of changes we're going to be making. One of them that we are going to do is the screen. We want to be able to see our screen options. So I believe here it is. The first one is called Change Options. Screen swap, yes. Very hard to read in this screen. So we're going to go back to the game. Controls. We already have controls set up. Firmware cheats. If I click my L2, I can flip screens. Turn down the volume here. Whoa, extremely loud. Let's turn down the volume a little bit more. Go to our menu. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a save state. Should have went to it. There's save state, which is showing the image from previously, just a screenshot. But as far as the game change options, screen swap, yes. I want to save that for all games. We want to return to the game. But what we're trying to do is trying to see if there's a way to get a different image, and I believe they're only offering extremely loud. You can't turn down the volume for that. So, but this gives you an example. It is a little bit more practice to try and add a few games and see how they work, but you've got this two side-by-side images. You can also do it vertically, so you could change it to be this way. So if we're going to do that, let's go ahead and I'll show you how that works. So change the options, change to single. Oh, here we go. Screen orientation, single, vertical, horizontal. So let's go with single. Now, if you're flipping the L2, other than the sound, which enables sound, show speed, we can change that. Now that I'm able to focus in on this, enable sound, yes, super loud. So we're going to turn the sound off for a second, because really we're focusing on trying to save this for all games. Go down, get out of here. L2 is what I was looking for to actually do that. And then actually if you do L1 or R1, that's going to provide you the mouse. As you can see over here, our mouse. Here we go. You can see the mouse moving around. And that would be your enter key. So we're going to go over here. It's going to flip my screen. And it's going through reading. We're just going to take the sound off of it right now. But that kind of shows you an example there. We're going to actually go to a save state, number 1. We're going to go ahead and do save. And there you go. Save state 2 is this image right now where I started at the front of the game. And where it's supposed to be showing the frames per second, that counter is up above, for some reason it's not showing up very well. We're going to go ahead and get out of this. That shows you the DS ports. We'll hit ports at the end. We've still got PSP, PlayStation, Super Game Boy. So let's go to PSP. So we're going to go to the menu, some of the games that I've already done. So for example, one game that I've had some issues playing on another system was Pursuit Force. I was able to play through it on NextUI, but unfortunately on Newly it will not boot. I have not tested it on a couple other systems. So if I go here to the PSP, I'm going to go press A. It's going to go into the PPSSPP emulator. What we're going to do is, here we go. It actually jumped into the load state that I had previously had, but if I press menu key, you're going to see your standard PPSSPP emulator core. Basically the settings that they've already set as a default. Backend is only OpenGL. It's 2 times resolution, which has been preset. Full screen has been preset. Frame skips 2. Auto skip has been set. Alternative speed for number 2 might have been set at disabled. I've changed it to an unlimited. The only other change I might have made in my settings down here might have been my upscale type was bicubic. It's usually defaulted as XBRZ. We're going to go and keep that. And then my anisotropic filtering, I believe it's defaulted around maybe 16. I usually drop it around 8 or 4. We'll go with 8 this time. You keep scrolling down, you'll see the frame counter. So what we're going to do is, let's continue. There we go. So we're able to steer. Ooh, not good. Working just fine. We're getting about 15 frames per second. So what we're going to do is, let's try this. Show this example here. We're going to go ahead and go to settings. We're going to go to 1 times resolution. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. We're also, they have the option of cheats. We're going to go all the way to the top of the cheats. We're going to try and go with 30 frames per second. Let's see if we can get this force based on this cheat. Okay. We're going to go ahead and press continue. We're at 15 right now. You need to move out of the way, buddy. There we go. We're still reading. Image isn't too bad. A little bit more rougher. It's not as clear. You can definitely tell. We've got 15 frames per second still. So our quality is not really increased. So if we take this back again, go to our settings, go to 2 times again, you'll see the difference in image. See how it's much clearer on the car. It's not so grainy, but it's not really raising any frames per second, but the game is working. I'm able to steer. The volume for him talking is very clear. So I mean, everything is definitely working. So to give you that example, and if I wanted to go ahead and take that as another save state where I was playing, it's going to automatically on my third one show up an image same state. So just giving you an example of the PPSSPP emulator core. We'll go ahead and get out of that. We've got 2 more to go, folks. We've got PlayStation. So we've got quite a few games in PlayStation. Lots of fun stuff. So let's go with something a little bit different we haven't had in a while. So here's a big game, Valky Profile. That basically that file is almost 2 gigs. And what we're going to do is press X, and we're going to look at the emulator cores. And the choices they have is PCSX rearmed or Swan Station. The default is PCSX rearmed, so we're going to go with that. That seems to be the same one across all the firmwares that are being out there for the Trimui. We're going to go ahead and also do this by we're going to add this to a collection. We're going to add to a collection. We're going to create a new collection. Let's call that games. So it does show you how much time it takes to get things set up how you want it. So add to collection. We don't need to do that. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and get out of here just really quickly, scroll over to my collections, games, and there's my game. Just like as if I go to my favorites, there's Pokemon Lazarus, plus these other games that I've added recently. So let's go to collections. We'll go to Volkey Profile, load the game. It's actually loaded the save state. As you can see, same menu here. It's running off of the Retroarch core. So I've got save. I've got actually 4 save states. So what it's done is it hits the most recent one. Turn it up a little bit. Not having any verbiage out of this, so you're not hearing anything. It's a lot of reading, but as far as the game working, looks great. If I want to go ahead and do an advanced menu, I want to go ahead and make some changes here. I can go to my core settings. I can go to my video if I needed to make any changes on it. Display internal frames per second. We're going to turn that on. So you'll see how that's working. There's our frames per second. As we're reading through this. Kind of just scrolling through some stuff. It's going to try it. See if what we can do is, let's go to our settings here. We're going to go to video. We're going to go to scaling. We've got a 4.3. What we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get a little bit better of an image. Does change it a little bit, the background. You can also make, there we go. So here's our example for the PS. So we're going to go ahead and save this state. I'm going to go back to my last one here, just to give you an example. And then we'll go ahead and exit out of that. And we've got one last platform. So we're going to go to collections. We've gone through quite a few different. We've still got ports to go. We've got Super Game Boy. So this is using a core specifically for Super Game Boy, and it also has a rumble feature for the Pokemon Pinball. So what we're going to do is go ahead and press X. It does not offer you the options for cores. We're going to see what happens when it actually boots. So go ahead and hit A to play. We're going to go to Advanced Menu, and it's using the MGBA core. So when I'm playing this game, it's got a vibration, a rumble, a specific game. So basically the device is just rumbling the whole time we're trying to do this, which is pretty awesome. So kind of a nice little feature, make you feel like you're at the pinball. Enough of that. We'll do a save. Now what's going to happen, I bet, when we go ahead and exit this game, we're going to use that same save image for the game. No? It didn't appear. So let's go ahead and hit our X. Let's see if we can do any Boxart to find that game. No. But if we were to select one, we would have one here. So unfortunately, we do not. It does not have the offerings. Okay, so lastly, we're going to hit ports. We're going to go and press A because there was a game added. So every time a game is added, it likes to walk through and make sure that all the box art is checked out. So Apatris works. It was tested out in my Portmaster video. Belatro is still unfortunately not working. I'm still going to check that out. Blackout, we actually downloaded earlier, so let's go ahead and hit that and see how that works. Ooh, it kicked us out. So we're going to have to find out a log file to see why that's not working. Celeste, just to give you an example, I know that's worked. We're going to press A. It's thinking. My lights have turned red. There we go. We were able to boot up Celeste. And it went right to the game. Really good image, actually. Let's just get a few seconds of this game. And then I want to show you one game that I actually had added some files just recently to show somebody. I want to make sure it's still working. So there she is. She's working just fine. Image on the screen is really clear. There we go. Seems to be working. To exit out of that, you're going to go ahead and press menu and start. You can, there you go. Exits right out of the game. Here's an image actually for the artwork. We're going to go down to Tuhu, Sereno, and Streets of Frogs. Somebody had asking how to get that to work on CrossMix, and unfortunately they were not successful. So I played around with the file, and I was able to get it running on 3 or 4 of the firmwares that are available. So I've seen this actually run here. So I'm going to go ahead and press A. Another Portmaster game that I know that's working. It was working. Very frustrating that it's not working, but that kind of wraps it up. I'm hopefully helpful. Hope that I was able to help you out get your Spruce version 4.0.0 or 0.0 software set up, firmware, on your Trimui Smart Pro or Brick. I enjoyed you watching these videos, and I hope this helps you out. Again, I know it's a long video and there's a lot of information, but thanks again, and have a great day from Beyond the Emulator.